Alright guys. Alright guys. So, the old brain isn't working today. Got almost no sleep last night. And so I'm going to try and figure out a way of being successful at chess even when you can't think. So the answer to that is going to be to stick to principles. Alright, so I'm playing an unrated game, thankfully, against a player rated just over 1100. So, opening principles. Okay. First, control the centre. These pawns now control these things. My opponent is playing something funky and weird. That's fine, it's up to them. Alright, so I've now moved a dark square pawn and a light square pawn, so both of my bishops, in theory, can now enter the game. This bishop has no future here, here or here, so I think I may just develop this bishop now and defend this pawn twice with my bishop. Alright, so far so good. This is the Grob opening, apparently. Don't think I've ever played this, but I have seen it before. Doesn't mean I know what to do with it, but there you go. Alright, next. Other bishops and knights. That knight looks like it could belong on c6. Why not? So some weaknesses on the dark squares already here. This square is now only defended once because this pawn has already moved forwards, you see. Alright, and he's doing something else weird on the other side of the board. This is interesting. So this is me trying to follow some principles against somebody who's trying to break them all. So let's see who does better. Okay, so another pawn move. This is pawn move number 5 on move 6. Right, he's only moved one piece so far. Wow. Okay, now I could drop my bishop back down here, but then I could fall prey to that, but then I could always play a6 and rescue, because I do have ideas. Maybe it'd be nice to put my queen here and attack that. So let's just drop the bishop back now. So what I'm doing now is I am taking a short break from development in order to implement a tactical idea. So here now I'm threatening check on f2. Let's see if my opponent notices that. I'm also defending this pawn a second time with my queen, seeing as he just put his bishop there, attacking that pawn. Now I'd expect him to move this pawn. Moving the knight in front would be a little bit counterproductive. Okay, so he's blocked. Okay, so the e-pawn is now blocked. Well, you might as well finish moving all your pawns, seeing as that's the general idea. Okay. Now I want to bring my knight in here. So I'm going to bring my knight in. Let's defend it twice. Defend it twice. Okay. Funky, funky, funky stuff. Now I don't think he's going to... I don't know which side he's going to castle on, to be honest. Don't know where he is planning on going. Now if I put my queen here, actually this pawn would then be effectively hanging because this pawn would be pinned. So that's a tactical idea. Or should I just castle? Castle, maybe long, put my rook on here, and then maybe strike in the center. I think that's principled. So the idea is we're on move 9. My opponent has not yet castled, and therefore it makes sense, if I am ahead in development, to try and strike for the center, open up the center. So let's have a think about this now. On that square, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces on it. If I push that, then you could have bishop takes there, but knight recaptures. So let's do it. Let's strike out in the center. Now, if he pushes e4 now, both of his bishops have just got really bad, because we'll have gridlock in the middle of the board. And neither of these guys is going to be able to get through it. So I think that might be an issue. So despite the fact that I've been extraordinarily tired, I have nevertheless played a few chess games and lost a few of them. Really interesting one today. Something's happened, and it's happened twice, where I've been, in 10-minute rapid games, I've been ahead on time and just trying to run down my opponent's clock, and I've lost on time. It's happened twice in one day. Alright, so this is interesting. That's it. That is a curious move. So he's attacking now my queen. And my queen is actually somewhat short of squares. I think the natural inclination is to play queen h4. I could just move sideways. I have got 1, 2, 3 safe squares to go to. Question is, which is the best? I think maybe here, because if I get to take the pawn there and he retakes, I can jump in with queenie. So does that look alright? Let's try it. I might even strike on the F file now with my pawn. Try and make some space. Queens like space. Okay, there's another attack. Hum hum. Now if I go here, I think he's out of ammo. Okay, so knight d2 now. Pawn's defended. Bishop is actually undefended. I'd love to take out this knight. So how about f5 now? Attacking the knight. If he takes on passant, I can recapture the pawn. He can't go... I mean, he could go deeper into my territory, but then he's going to lose his pawn as well, because the knight is the only defender of this pawn here. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's drop the queen back. He's trying really hard to trap my queen, isn't he? But now I do actually have e8, f7. I have some space. Ha! Wow. I'm going to come back to here. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Got some tension with pawns here. It'd be good to open that up. I really want to open up space around this king. Anything around here is all good. It's definitely a bit of a knotty game, but big imbalance on the board is this guy's thrown far too many pawns around already. He's moved 6 of his pawns, whereas I've moved 3. Okay, so he's resolved that tension now. My first reaction is f4 and kick the knight away. Can't go here. Can go here, but bishop takes on knight takes. Or do I break open in the middle? If I capture there, he's got pawn and knight, and I'm kind of out, so I think push. And now this knight, I think, is really going to have to retreat up there and undevelop itself. Less than ideal for white, yes. The Grob opening. You know, these funny openings, there's quite often a reason why they are not often seen. It's because they're not very good. Alright, so the knight has now undeveloped itself, gone all the way back to e2. Yeah, this bishop doesn't have many prospects on here. So I might just kind of keep that bishop in my pocket for later. So the name of the game right now is, because I've completed development and my opponent absolutely has not, I want to crack stuff open. So h6 now attacking this pawn. You can't take because I'll just grab the bishop. Okay, let's opening things up. I don't care. Open things up. I'm expecting. Okay, pawn takes. I thought pawn would take, but knight takes. Okay, bishop's protected. I could put my bishop up here, pinning this knight against the queen. You know, this bishop is looking for work. Another idea is maybe at some point to push this, but it doesn't work right now because he can capture with a knight. I think bishop there now looks okay. Any kind of general destruction around this part, so I'll swap off the bishop. That wasn't a great bishop anyway. Okay, so out of the pieces that I've got, which could be doing a better job? And I think this bishop stands out in particular. He's got no prospects here, so maybe what I should be doing is trying to get my bishop kind of back round here, round the corner somehow. But that means moving this pawn, which means moving that knight, and moving that knight, and moving that rook. So it's very, very slow as an idea, as ideas go. Other plans... I mean, simply doubling up rooks makes sense, like rook to here, bring my other rook across, and go after this pawn. Why not? I've got no pawn breaks in the centre because of this gridlock here. So this bishop isn't going to find any space and activity through the centre. Other ideas could be kind of something sacrificial to open things up on the queen side, but there's no real need. This bishop's very bad. My bishop there is also very bad. So I think the cleanest route through is this h-file, and I'd love to land a rook on there, obviously. Okay, so what is he doing? Let's find out. I'm going to drop my rook straight there. Knight can't come here. Bishop's useless. Rook is kind of stuck. How's he going to get another defender? Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's answer that question. All right, so I just move my king onto d8. Got to watch out for this square. Knight would love to get onto there. If it does right now, I'm going to capture it and eat it alive. Can't take. Nope. It's also, again, making life difficult for this bishop. So maybe I should have put my king there. And then with ideas of... Okay, well, that's just a blunder. There you go. Everyone blunders from time to time. Players rated 1100 blunder more often than those rated 1422. So it's almost a resignable position now, I would say. I've got barrage now against this. Okay, less of a barrage, but... So, knight's defending the rook. So if I can take out this knight, I might win the rook. Take the knight. Nah, pointless. Don't be silly with your pieces, Hunty. Right, come on. Right, where does this knight want to go? Let's find a better place for him. So I've got there. Yeah, that'll do. Still guarding this square, very important. I've now got the option of c5. You see, takes, and then maybe my bishop has got some ideas. Oh, you've anticipated me. Okay, let's carry on with this plan. Do I have to worry about anything up here? Pawn? Nah. I think we're okay. So this is the idea now. If he pushes the pawn, I can simply take with the rook. It's backed up by another rook. This knight can't go anywhere because it's the only defender of that rook there. This bishop now does have a route round. Since that pawn pushed forwards, it's actually freed up this bishop. See, every time a pawn moves, a square is changed for the better, or for good. Okay, so we've now got tension between these two knights. Is he going to run away? Or is he going to swap off? He's going to swap off. Okay. He can play knight here or here, but it doesn't matter because queen's guarding both. And I'm threatening now this. King moves, and we swap off rooks. Let's do it. He can't interpose the rook. He has to move. Okay, let's swap rooks. Always a good idea to, nearly always, to trade material when you're up. And I am certainly up. I've got basically a queen for a knight. Okay, let's open things up again. I'm expecting bishop takes. I don't mind losing a pawn. opening up the board is all good for me. This is all one-way traffic now. Okay, and I'm going to drop the king back here. Gets it out of line of this knight. It also opens up the d file slightly. So I've got ideas of now rook d8 and queen d3 check. That rook there. No. This pawn's now unprotected. I'll just drop my queen back here now. Okay, this pawn is now unprotected, so I'm now attacking the knight. So, what have we learnt about 1100 players? Wait long enough and there will be a blunder. It's the simple answer. Okay, and now check, and this is a fork on king and knight. So there's nothing really you can do now. Okay, let's grab the knight. Oh, you got a pawn, well done. So I'm thinking queen here. Not worried about back rank attacks because I do have d7 as an escape. Okay, let's grab the pawn with check. And now I think rook to here. Now we're targeting this. And we should have a fairly prompt conclusion. King can't go to any of these squares, remember? So we can now take that, and he's got to go to one of these three. And that's checkmate. There you go. Right, so the quick game featuring the odd Grob attack, which I think we might have to categorise as a dumbass opening, because it certainly didn't work out too well for my 1100 rated opponent in this instance. I don't think it's anything that I'm going to be trying out anytime soon, but there you go. The Grob opening. One to forget. Alright, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you soon.